Hi everyone! Today we're going to make this really sweet apple cider container, little pouch, and it uses the gift bag framelets, which are a fun little thing to have. And I think this would make a really nice thing to put on someone's desk, a coworker, or a teacher. Maybe slip it in your neighbor's mailbox, or maybe when some of the moms and dads you know come trick-or-treating, maybe that special friend, you can give the parent something like this. It's a really cute little coffee cup that you can use, and it's just an adorable little gift. I'm going to show you a lot of the new coffee collection because I just adore it. And there's two. This one is called Coffee Cafe, and it is in the main annual catalog. And it has a die set that is so fun, and you can buy the two together as a bundle. And for this project today, we're not using this stamp set, but we are using the dies. In the holiday catalog, there's a second coffee stamp set, but it uses the same dies. So they coordinate together, and it gives you a whole year and some more options to use with your dies. It's a really fun stamp set collection. I think it's just great. There's a paper collection that comes with this suite also that's really fun. I was so happy to see the Merry Cafe in the holiday catalog because I love coffee, I love tea, I love cider, I love it all. And it's got some really fun witch's brew with scream and sugar. You can do something like this and make it more Halloween-y and use that. There's Love is Brewing Party in a cup. Then you've got some coffee things. I Love You and Coffee, Perk Up. Apple cider, that's what we're going to use today. This one is awesome for me. Hello Fall, it's pumpkin spice latte season. Love that. So it's just a really fun addition to the coffee collection, and I was so happy to see it. This little cup also gets cut out with a framelit. It's the small one here, so it's really a fun thing to have. We're going to focus on this stamp set for this project. I used this stamp set in a project 2 days ago maybe, but we made it with the cupcake. Next week I plan to do something with this one in a more Christmas themed. So anyway, check that out, look for that. And we're going to start today on the apple cider pouch. So this apple cider pouch, I want to show you the apple cider that I bought. I buy this every year. It comes out in my grocery store. It only comes out in the fall. So it's not something they normally carry. Maybe some grocery stores do. It's by Alpine, and it's called Spiced Apple Cider. There's a sugar-free version and an original, and I usually buy a few of those. My son really likes this one too. And the pouch puts together really quickly because of that gift bag thinlets. I'm going to show you those really quick too. The bag comes in 2 parts, and you're going to need both of those parts to cut it out. I also wanted to show you really quick that this is a really great die because you've got all these additional pieces. This one, you can't read it, but it says enjoy. This one says for you. There's these fun little decorative things you can use to make confetti, or you can make some little strips of windows in your bag. Different reasons to use that, real cute. And there's stars and hearts. I love the tag. And this is a little torn washi tape, which is fun, and a cute little bow. So it's a really great thinlet to have because it just comes with so many extras. And we're going to use the bag today, and that's it. So you can see I cut out both pieces, and I cut them from crumb cake paper. First thing I want to do is stamp on the bag. You can see I made my own background. I was trying to figure out what paper I would use for my background, and I just couldn't find one that I was in love with. And I thought, man, I wish there was a solid, neutral background, tone on tone, and I didn't have one that worked in my mind anyway. And I decided to make my own, and that's really simple. So I'm using that Merry Cafe stamp set, and you can see there's a few different leaves in here. And these little dots that kind of go to fill in these berries. Here's some too. So I put all 3 on a stamp together. I'm using this one, and this one. I decided to go with all the outlines as opposed to the fill-ins. And I put them all in one block together. And I stamped tone on tone. So I'm using crumb cake paper and crumb cake ink. And I just stamped randomly, turning the block every so often so that the pattern is different. The leaves are going in different directions. Okay, there you go. So you've got a nice little pattern to your pouch. Next, I used the dies from the coffee cups, and I used the lid, the wrapper, and the tall cup. This designer series paper is from the Painted Autumn paper collection. It's really pretty. It comes with all kinds of fall colors. So that's a great paper. And then I used some Soft Sky for the wrapper. And I love that I get to use up my strips for this project, because I always have those skinny strips of white and vanilla, and I'm going to cut that out with a strip of vanilla. So you cut them out with your Big Shot. All right, I'll be right back with those when they're done. Now I want to tell you what I did with this one. As you can see, it looks like a sweater. There's a local coffee shop in our town, and the junior high sells these cute little hand knit coffee warmers that they have, and I think they donate the money to charity of some kind, but they're really fun, and I always see them at the coffee shop. And so I thought that I would make this into a little hand knit coffee cozy. I'm not sure what that's called, but little hand knit coffee cozy. And I'm using the dynamic, it's called a dynamic because it's extra thick. It's thicker than your usual embossing folders. And so you need to do a couple different things. Normally, it depends on how old your Big Shot is. The newer ones come with a platform, a thin die adapter, and 2 plates, and that would be your sandwich. When you're using an embossing folder, you normally take this one away. So it kind of shows you that. So you're using your platform and 2 plates. However, because this one is extra thick, they say that you need to take away even one more thing, one of your plates. So you're just using the platform and 1 plate. Now, if your Big Shot is older, you might have one of the Big Shots that have the tabs that flip. This is kind of the same thing, only instead of flipping, it just comes completely off. So you would go to your lowest platform and 1 plate. So I will run this through and be right back. There you go. Doesn't that look so cute? Little hand knit coffee cozy. That's what I'm calling it anyway. So let me show you how to put together this bag. You need a strong adhesive because this is going to be something that you're going to stick things in, and you don't want this seam popping apart. So I recommend using something like tear tape, sticky strip, or fast fuse. I'm going to use fast fuse. And what I need to do is run, the bag comes with a score line, so you fold along the score line, and I'm going to run the fast fuse down that flap. So this is just going to connect right here, right under this flap, which is why I folded it so I kind of have a better visual, and just all along that bag. There. Next you're going to want to close it. So I'm going to run a line of fast fuse along here. And 1 more strip here. And there's your bag. I'm going to use a really strong adhesive again, really one little spot right there. And that is going to be where I wrap my twine, my baker's twine. I'm using Very Vanilla. The new Very Vanilla is not as thick as this. I happen to have some older Very Vanilla and it's thick. And the newer one is not quite as thick, but I want to use up what I have. So I'm going to go with this one. And all I did was I started it on that little bit of fast fuse and I wrapped it a few times. And I just pressed it down on that fast fuse. And again, you can use a sticky strip there. Tear tape is also a good one. So that's my wrap. You can kind of play with these if you want. And now I'm going to put together the cup. It comes together super simply with some liquid adhesive. I'm using Stampin' Up! Tombow multi-purpose glue. I'm going to place this on top of my baker's twine with some dimensionals. I'm at the end of this one, so I'm going to use up these little scraps. There. And that covers up where I started my baker's twine wrap. To make the tag, I'm using another stamp from that Mary Cafe stamp set, and it is this one that says Apple Cider, and I'm going to stamp it in crumb cake. Now the stamp set has a tiny little apple filler that you can use to fill that in, or you can use a marker to fill it in. I have the stamp set out on my desk, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Now you can see that I stamped off first before putting it on top. I wanted to be able to see there's a tiny little heart in the center of that apple, and I wanted to see it better. And when I did this one, I did not stamp off, and you can't really see the heart. Now this is a scrap. It's also from the same paper pack as this, called Painted Autumn. So I just took these little scraps and kind of forked the end a little bit by going up the center and then meeting that center from the ends. I glued these two little pieces together just so they would stay in place. And I used some glue dots. And these just went right here. I'm going to trim them. And I use a couple more glue dots on that. Now I was going to just tie a bow with baker's twine right there, and then I have a lot of buttons because I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 10 years. I have a lot of buttons, and I have these little ivory ones I just never got around to using. They were in a pack of neutrals, and this just happened to, I have a lot of this color. I think I used the larger button and not the smaller, so I want to use them since I have them, but you don't need to. You can add that little bow without the button. And I just attached that with some glue dots as well. I'm going to use two, just make sure I get it on there good. And so I just put this right at the end. I think I wanted to use the button because the little cozies at the coffee shop have little buttons to hold it closed. So all you need to do now is fill it in with your little cider, and you have a cute little gift to give somebody. If you wanted, you could throw in some tissue or some little paper strip confetti or something in there to make it look fun at the top. But there it is. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you check out this coffee collection that's going on. I have all these pictured on my blog today, so you can go ahead and take a look at the collection there. The paper is part of the Buy 3 Get 1 Free Designer Series paper collection that's going on until the end of October. This is 2017, so if you're looking at this video then, you can check out my blog at bethspapercuts.com. Thank you so much for coming by and watching today. Bye-bye.